Hey y'all, what's up? We're out here today to talk a little bit about public lands and conservation, and we're going to talk a little bit about a couple conservation organizations that I particularly enjoy and that I'm a part of and I think do a great job. Alright y'all, so like I said, we're out here on the state land today, and there's just so many great opportunities for different outdoor recreation hobbies, and I just love them all. So we're going to go through what some of them are. There's also plenty of opportunities for things like hunting. Here we go. To things like fishing. Nice little bass here. One of the things you can do on state lands is go trail running, but not quite for me. I'll stick to hiking. Hiking's a little bit more relaxing. Oh, hey. There's also a lot of great opportunities for things like camping. What's up, y'all? So just wanted to take a little bit of time after kind of going through all the cool different things that you can do on public lands and talk a little bit about conservation and just keeping public lands in the public's hands. So, as I said earlier, we're out here on some state land today in New York, and what I love about state land is there's so many opportunities for anybody to get outside and recreate. You know, as we kind of went through earlier, there's, hiking, hunting, fishing, bird watching, kayaking, all that kind of stuff, camping. So with all those different opportunities, anybody who likes to go outside and recreate can do those things. It's not just, a hunting preserve, and it's not, just a campground or whatever. It's kind of just a open range for anybody to do what they like to do in the outdoors, which is awesome. But that being said, these public lands are what keeps that opportunity available for everybody, not just for people who can afford, have a big lease or who can afford to pay to go to a campground. It's just anybody who wants to go outside, all you have to do is get there. And so that's awesome. With that being said, we have to make sure that these public lands stay public. There's always a constant threat of large companies or wealthy individuals trying to buy public land for personal use or for developmental use and things like that, which I'm not against progress, but at the same time, these natural resources, i.e. just the outdoors, is decreasing every day with expansion of housing and expansion of factories and things like that. So keeping our state forests and our national forests and refuges, like wildlife refuges and things like that, available for everybody to go on and to enjoy is essential. So one of the big campaigns out there right now is Public Lands in Public Hands. Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is an awesome conservation organization. They're the ones kind of spearheading that whole campaign, as far as I know anyway. I personally am a member. I'm an active member. I go to some of the events and things like that. So some of the stuff with Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, they're relatively new within the past 10 years or so, and they are nationwide. I don't know if they're in Canada and Mexico. I'm not sure about that. It costs, I think, $15 for a college student, and then like $30 or so for everybody else to join. You get a magazine and calendar and different things like that. The magazine's pretty neat. It's got a bunch of different things in there. One thing I really like about Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is they're very active. At least here in New York, the state level chapter is very active. They host a lot of cleanup events at campsites and at ponds and streams and access sites and things like that. Recently they did, I don't know if it's still going on, an Access Our Waters campaign, and they had a whole bunch of teams meeting up across the state, and we went and we cleaned up stream beds and fishing sites and stream access sites and things like that. So it was really neat. We got to pick up some trash that had blown in off of the roads and different things like that, and that fell out of people's pockets and whatnot. And it was a really cool grassroots level event where anybody could come. There was a chance to win some cool stuff, and if you came and you won the stuff, that was awesome, but if you came, it didn't feel like it was like some big, oh, we're with these guys today. It was like, oh, hey, let's talk about hunting or fishing or whatever. So that was awesome. And they're very good. Backcountry Hunters and Anglers is very good about making it easy for people to advocate for public lands. If you go right on their website, they have forms you can fill out. All you have to do is fill out your contact information, and it will send letters to Congress if you want to, advocating for public lands and saying that you support keeping public lands in the public's hands, which is awesome because you know, in the United States, a lot of things have, well, just about everything, you know, legal has to go through Congress or something like that, particularly with public lands like state lands and national parks. So being able to tell your representatives in Congress that these are something that you use and that you want to conserve and protect is essential to ensuring their longevity into the future. So Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, just a little bit about them. They're an awesome organization. I'll drop a link below to their website. And then another great conservation organization is Ducks Unlimited. I myself happen to be a chapter chairman of Ducks Unlimited here in New York. It's a Tompkins County chapter. So Ducks Unlimited works a little bit differently than Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. Ducks Unlimited is primarily geared towards waterfowl and wetland conservation, and they're just a great organization. Even if you're not a waterfowler, you're not a birder or anything, if you support conservation, I highly recommend supporting Ducks Unlimited. 83 to 87% of every dollar goes directly into conservation. They're able to double a lot of that money through government grants and different things like that, which is awesome. And Ducks Unlimited has a massive network all across North America. There's tons of massive wetlands conservation projects going on. They work extensively with landowners to make conservation easements and help them maintain their land and maintain their possible agricultural practices, while also supporting wetlands and habitat for waterfowl, which is just totally awesome. So cool. Ducks Unlimited will run you $35 a year to join. They'll send you a magazine, some stickers and things like that, decals, and I think you get a fleece or like a cooler or something like that if you sign up. So Ducks Unlimited kind of works the same way Backcountry Hunters and Anglers does. They host fundraising events. You can buy a ticket, you go, and you can purchase tickets, raffle tickets to win different prizes and things. And but they're just a great event. We had our first event for our chapter was this past April, and it was a great time. We got to meet a bunch of new hunters and fishermen and conservationists that I hadn't met before, and everybody got to come out, have a good time, have a chance to win some awesome gear, and it's a great way to connect with other conservationists and like-minded individuals while still supporting a great cause. I forgot to mention earlier too, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers does do fundraising events like that. One of my favorite ones is they have a pint night. It's one of the only ones I've been to, but basically it's just held at a local brewery or a bar or something like that. They have a few items to raffle off just to raise a little bit of money, but it's more or less a networking opportunity to go meet other conservationists and outdoorsmen and women alike. And it was really cool. We got to network a little bit, kind of got to meet some new people, got to learn a little bit about the organization a little more. So Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, Ducks Unlimited, they're both great organizations for anybody with a conservation or a public land interest to join. Both groups are actively advocating for outdoors men and women's right to access public lands and to further the wild resources that are on those public lands, whether it be waterfowl or deer or fish or just plants, different things like that. So both of them are great organizations. We will drop the links below to both of the sites and a couple different links within the sites for you guys, just so it's a little easier for you. I highly recommend you join both of them. As I said, great organizations pushing public land, staying in public's hands for everybody to be able to use and to be able to use into the future for future generations, and being able to conserve what we have and advance what we have into the future in terms of habitat and animals and things like that. So thanks for watching, guys. I highly encourage you to go and click on the links, sign up if you're not already a member, and take somebody new hunting or fishing. Take somebody new into the outdoors. Take a kid into the outdoors. I love seeing that kind of stuff. If anybody has any of those types of things and they want to send in a cool story, we'll share it for you. We'll get it out there. So thanks for watching. One last quick little announcement. If you do happen to be in state forests, or any forest for that matter, and you see all this trash, please pick it up. And please be responsible and pick up your trash, people. All picked up for the most part.